Hello, my friends. Today is 19th of December. It's almost 10 o'clock in the morning, Moscow time. And let's make another video for the channel and talk about some news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets. I will start with breaking news, which is that during the night, previous night, Russian forces did conduct quite a big drone attack on Zelensky's Nazi regime, and we have some information about this. Not official, we don't have official information from Russian Defense Ministry, but in Russian media outlets and on Telegram channels, we can read that at least 30 to 40 kamikaze drones were sent in direction of logistical centers, logistical infrastructure of Zelensky's Nazi regime, and it seems like many targets were hit in Kiev, in city of Kiev, and in Kiev region. Same time, there were some explosions in Dnipropetrovsk region, Kirovogradsky region, Nikolaevsky region, and Vinnytsky region. So it must be probably it was quite a huge, quite a big drone attack, or maybe even missile attack. We don't really have yet information, but what we can learn or read from Russian media outlets, this is RBK news agency, for example. I mean, what we can read here is that this attack was quite a big one. I did read on Telegram channels that Zelensky's Nazi regime said about destroying 30 to 35 drones from 40 that was directed towards Kiev, but to be honest, I have no trust. I would not trust any single word from Zelensky's Nazi regime, so probably targets that Russian Defense Ministry has designated were hit. I did read information that in Kiev, in the right bank of the Dnieper river, after a drone attack, there was some problems with electricity supply and water supply. And whenever I hear this kind of news, I always think that it's not just logistical infrastructure or military factories that are targeted or are experiencing difficulties, but ordinary humans too. And that's a sad part of it, you know, because Russia don't fight with civilians, man. It's just sad that Russia just has to destroy logistical infrastructure of Zelensky's Nazi regime in order to finish this conflict as soon as possible. And it's just inevitable to have some collateral damage, which will make life difficult for civilians too. That's a war, man. and it's never good stuff or nice stuff, and it's obvious. So yeah, that's this is the main news this morning. We will probably learn during the day from Russian Defense Ministry how many drones or rockets were launched, or what was the main goal of this attack. But it seems like in many regions of Ukraine, some logistical facilities were and energy facilities were hit, and it's we can say now that it's kind of a pattern, since General Surovikin become head of special military operation. I mean, his actions clearly showing that he has some plan, and one can only hope that his plans will be successful, and as a result, this conflict will end soon as possible. Okay, that's been said. Let's check some other news. Here we have information that's TASS news agency. Here we have information that Zelensky's Nazi regime did send some 800 mobilized people in Kramatorsk area, or Artyomovsk area, sorry. Artyomovsk is Bakhmut. I mean, Ukrainians call this city Bakhmut. In Russia, we call it Artyomovsk. So what we can read in this information is that these 800 mobilized soldiers had no proper training before they were sent to this town, and it seems like even Russian side is kind of wary that more and more mobilized Ukrainians are ending up on a front line without proper equipment or without proper training, and they're just dying there for no reason whatsoever, because of course without proper training they probably are opening up themselves to fire, and let's be clear here, man, no one in Russia is happy that so many casualties are occurring on Ukrainian side, because everyone understands that most of the people that are under arms in Ukraine, they being forced to take arms. They are all just ordinary people that was mobilized, and if they refuse, they may get shot. So that's why time to time, we may see on Russian media outlets or in Russian Telegram channels this kind of news, when Russian officers are kind of wary about enemy forces that are not prepared to fight, and they're gonna die for no reason. And that shows you how we see this conflict in Russia. This is we can say this is a civil war for us, more or less, because as I said many times in my videos, we don't see Ukrainians as enemies. We see Ukrainians as our brothers, that for some reason, because they were forced to take arms against Russia, or they were ideologized or propagandized, they just choose a wrong path for this moment. And it's of course sad, but that fact did not change how we see them. We never, we personally, and many of us in Russia, we never gonna see Ukrainians as our enemies. They are our people, and that's why for many of us this conflict is not a conflict between Russia and Ukraine, but conflict between Russia and NATO. And in terms of fight between Ukrainians and Russians, that's element of civil war inside the Russian world, if I may say it that way. So yes, I mean, it seems like Zelensky's Nazi regime is becoming very desperate in Bakhmut area, in Artyomovsk area. And after failing of Marinki, and as you know, a few days ago I did mention in my videos that Marinki was liberated from Zelensky's Nazi regime. It seems like now Bakhmut will be liberated too, and in order to somehow prolong conflict around this area, Zelensky's regime is, doing this kind of stuff. They are sending unready soldiers, just mobilized ordinary humans. Engineers, teachers, civilians, let's say, they are sending those civilians to a battlefield. And that shows you how desperate Zelensky's Nazi regime is in this particular area. And in my understanding, Artyomovsk, Bakhmut, if you wish, will be liberated in next few weeks' time. It will don't take too long, probably, because we are receiving reports from that. It's just hell there, and forces that are still loyal to Ukraine are taking just too big casualties to bear it. Many of the, I read like a few days ago that one of the units lost up to 80% of the force, and once they had the order to evacuate, these few soldiers that was still alive, they had to walk away. Zelensky's Nazi regime couldn't even provide some vehicles for personnel to evacuate, so they had to walk kilometers and kilometers to reach a safe place. So yes, that's when it comes to this Bakhmut area. So we will learn fairly soon that Artyomovsk is liberated. I'm absolutely sure about it. What else, man? Here we have, this is still TASS news agency. I did open few news topics that I think may be interesting for you. Here we have information that in UK, UK's government is preparing some legislation to approve sending to Ukraine in 2023 some hundreds of thousands of shells, artillery shells, artillery ammunition. So yes, what can I say, man? UK, British elites, they are very much involved in this conflict. Same we can say about US, and it seems like they don't stop before Russia will achieve unconditional victory and before Russia will force Zelensky's Nazi regime to unconditional surrender, capitulation. I don't know what is wrong with British elites. I mean, why they hate Russia so much? I mean, it's like some disease that are targeting British elites. I mean, generation after generation, because they truly are Russophobes. I have no idea why, but it's showing now. I mean, they will never. They will use any opportunity to do some harm to Russian and Russian people. I don't know why. What is wrong with them? And here we are seeing. I mean, everyone knows that in Britain itself, I mean, society is under heavy pressure because of inflation, because of some difficulties in the economy, and these animals, I mean, British elites, they are using hundreds of millions of taxpayers' money to inflict even more pain on Ukrainian society and on Russia, when they can use this money and spend it for British people. And same we can say about USA. I did read a few days ago that Biden administration asking Congress for yet another help package for Ukraine, and it seems like this new package gonna be something like 30 to 40 billion dollars, man. Can you imagine, man, how much money these US and British elites, these criminals, are spending to somehow push, not allowed this conflict to end. I mean, they love this conflict. They want this conflict to be postponed as much as possible. Not to postpone, but to this conflict to continue as long as possible. And they don't care how many Ukrainians will die. Of course, they don't care how many Russians will die during this fight. And they don't care about citizens of US and UK too, because, I mean, as I said, I mean, it's hard to imagine that these hundreds of millions of pounds or dollars, or even billions, that were spent to prolong conflict in Ukraine could not be used for improving life of US or British citizens. I mean, So yeah, this is it, man. Probably this is it. Probably. Like I did give you a quick update on the news that are making headlines this morning. Main news is that in previous night Russia did conduct yet another strike on logistics infrastructure of the Zelensky's Nazi regime. Later on we will learn about how effective this strike was. And yes, we did see that Zelensky's Nazi regime is becoming desperate in the direction of Artyomovsk, same as Bakhmut. And they are now sending mobilized, unequipped, under-equipped, and trained soldiers to somehow stop Russian advance, but it's hard to imagine that these mobilized soldiers can do much, So yes, this is it for now. Yet again, I mean, if you find my videos or if you find my channel interesting, please consider to subscribe, to push some like button, to leave some commentary. As you can see, I'm engaged in comment section, and we can have exchange of opinions. So yes, this is it for now. Have a nice day and take care.